I'm not sure. I think that's just how I put it up on my shelf.
Yeah.
It's just I'm so used to Wes Anderson films
It
being...
should be the Grand Budapest Hotel, but
Yeah.
apparently it's just Grand Budapest Hotel.
Well, that's what we're doing today. Let's get into it.
Cracking.
We've just watched pretty much every Wes Anderson film up until this point. We tried to do it in order.
Mm-hmm.
We failed because we really wanted to talk about this because I feel like it's the great kind of like the best film to do first.
This is definitely of the ones I've seen so far. This is his best film.
And that's why I was going to start. I was going to ask, what did you think of it?
I think I said earlier is that it's definitely his best film. It's not my favourite film so far.
And what's your favourite?
Life Aquatic. I don't know why.
That's controversial.
It's controversial, but I think it's because Bill Murray's in more of it.
Yeah.
And I like Bill Murray and Owen Wilson together on screen. It's great.
It is a good film. It's one of the ones I've probably watched the least.
Yeah.
That and Darjeeling, but...
Don't get me wrong, I don't think it's a particularly good film. But
you don't think it's a particularly good film?
I mean, it's okay, but it has its charm, and that's why I like it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, then this is kind of like... I think this is kind of the film for me where it feels like he knew. This is where he knows, like, this is how I shoot my films, you know? Like, up until this point, he's had bits with, the symmetry and the kind of the colour and, like...
Well, this is where he's perfected his style.
Yeah, he's perfected his style completely. I think Moonrise Kingdom came close, but this... Especially with how he does the modelling, and kind of like, the use of art and paintings within, like, some of the shots instead of, I think it's a cheap way of making it because, it's not a big budget film.
Yeah, but the aesthetic is there.
The aesthetic works as well, and
it's,
I don't want to say it, but it is quirky.
Yeah.
It is, yeah, as they say, like, about the Grand Budapest is picturesque, but that's kind of what the film is like, it's...
Yeah.
And then the aspect ratio changes between, the different timelines also kind of, like, breathes a little bit of life into it and compares to other films, where they do this kind of thing, like sometimes they do, like a color change where they do black and white versus color for some like, time periods, but this does it more in aspect ratio, and I feel like it works because... The way they do it is kind of this ratio that they would have used around the times for films. So you kind of got this like 4:3 for the 1930s, for the 1968, where Jude Law plays a younger version of the author of the Grand Budapest Hotel book, and then obviously they got the future then, which is kind of more like a slimmed version, but like
yeah, I get you.
It kind of like fits perfectly. I mean, when I first watched it, it freaked me out because I thought that my TV was kind of messing up during it.
Yeah, because when I first like, wait, what's going on?
I didn't see the notice, please adjust your screens to 16:9 and all that.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah. So
I don't think there's a bad character in this film as well. Something that I quite like because there's so many different actors in it, and it's a stacked cast.
There's a lot of Oscar-nominated actors in there,
but
and winners.
They're all very subtle performances. There's nobody who you'd say particularly stands out apart from maybe Ray Fiennes.
I don't think anyone kind of like steals the show from anyone either. Usually you get like like an ensemble cast.
There'll be one actor you'll be like, oh yeah, he was definitely the best part of the film.
Yeah, and there's usually like maybe a cameo that like kind of like is put forward. Like you think of maybe Bill Murray, but like because it's Wes, I feel like he knows kind of how to like limit the characters to like it doesn't matter who's playing them. It's mainly about the characters you're watching and how they react to the story rather than their star power, and I think that's pretty incredible. Yeah. And also like the difference like between these films and his other films, this is a bit more of a comedic tone to it.
Yeah,
whilst also being like a truly great crime film, I'd say, but like it doesn't feel like a crime film because it's like so just.
I think the reason it doesn't really seem much like a crime film is you know who it is straight away almost.
Oh yeah.
I think this is one of the only times I've ever seen Adrian Brody on screen and wanted to punch him in the face.
Well, he does get punched in the face at one point, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does, exactly.
Those little shots as well, where they all just keep punching each other
in the face.
Well.
Yeah.
The thing with the Adrian Brody thing is that the newspapers in this film well, this is from like a kind of trivia thing. They were all handwritten. Well, not handwritten, but they were all written by Wes Anderson.
Fair play.
So usually they take like newspapers that are, newspaper articles and stuff, just throw them in there. But like everything in this was written by Wes Anderson, and it kind of serves the plot in a way because one particular newspaper gives away the entire plot.
Does it?
Yeah.
Lol.
So I just find that I think those little bits, just like the attention to detail as well that he gives in his films.
Well, it's the kind of thing that of a YouTube channel like CinemaSins would make fun of, in the fact that a lot of the newspaper articles that get like put across the screen, becomes like a montage kind, like in the Harry Potter,
like in Harry Potter, Dumbledore does
this,
Harry
Dumbledore arrests and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is that they don't actually pay any attention to what they're putting in the articles, because if you read any of them, it's just random stuff.
Yeah,
this has nothing to do with the title of the article. They just put it in there as filler.
Yeah,
and sometimes they'll have like repeated paragraphs and things like that. Whereas the attention to detail here is like, well, it's part of the story.
It's not just that, like all the little bits. Like, is it the Mendels that were Saoirse Ronan? Yeah, like it's all the little things like that. I think there's another thing where apparently they had to like digitally alter all the packaging because the graphic designer spelt the name wrong. which is just kind of a pain in the ass, but I don't think they realise until post, which is a bit weird.
See, if that was me, I'd just be like, listen, that's how we spell it now.
Yeah, I can't be bothered
I'd be
anymore.
like, I don't care anymore. That's how we spell it now.
This is definitely a big job for for production design and costume.
Yeah.
I think with Wes's films, I think compared to other filmmakers, he uses and utilises different departments better. So there's always little instances like the editing or the cinematography or the costume, the production, the sound mixing.
It's all quite high quality.
It all feels like it's all. They're not fighting each other, but they all have more presence than you would see in other films where it's just like kind of like bland.
Well, nothing gets neglected. Everything is taken care of.
And that's probably why it got nominated for quite a few awards, and I think it did win for production. Like I'd be surprised if it didn't.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if it didn't.
Ray Fiennes was snubbed, which I remember, which was pretty frustrating.
So he was nominated for.
He wasn't nominated. No,
was he not?
Not at all. Yeah, not at all.
Who else was in that year for Oscars and stuff?
I believe like Birdman was involved. So this was nominated for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Original Screenplay, Best Original Score, Best Cinematography, Best Film Editing, Best Production Design, Best Costume Design, and Best Makeup and Hairstyling.
I'm interested to know what...
There's a fair few amount of awards there, see.
What year was it?
It would have been the 2015, so it would have been the 87th.
87th.
So it included Birdman, Whiplash, American Sniper, Big Hero 6, Boyhood, Citizen 4, Interstellar.
87th Academy Awards.
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
And obviously it lost to Birdman, which won quite a few. I think Grand Budapest won 4 awards.
Eddie Redmayne won Best Actor for what?
The Theory of Everything, Stephen Hawking.
Oh, yeah. Ah.
That was quite a tough one, because I really thought that Michael Keaton deserved that.
J.K. Simmons won Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah. Whiplash.
Oh. It's interesting, because I don't really know many of the films from this year.
But like,
apart from maybe Gravity.
The thing is, Grand Budapest won the awards for Best Original Score, Best Production Design, Best Costume Design, and Best Makeup and Hairstyling, which are the ones that I feel like they did deserve more than maybe his best. I mean, I think he did deserve Best Directing, but, there's so many films that came out that year that, are deserving of it, and Birdman, I mean, is a better film for me, but I feel like I'm glad to see that Wes is finally getting appreciated for like the the kind of awards, even though they don't really mean anything. Like,
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, no, they don't. But if you get awards, it's recognition for your craft, really, and that's.
I mean, he's been nominated a few times for original screenplays and whatnot, but nothing for best directing and Best Picture. He got nominated for Best Picture as well. That's his first nomination for Best Picture, and I can't believe it's taken 20 years for him to get to this point. 18 years from his first feature to finally get a Best Picture nomination.
Yeah, she's almost unrecognisable here, isn't she?
Yeah,
Tilda Swinton.
Tilda Swinton. Yeah, 5 hours of makeup.
She looks about.
I mean, when you know it's her, you can see it now.
Oh, definitely. Because I think the first time I saw her, I was like, "This is someone familiar." I don't quite know who it is though.
The voice
And then
kind
I
of gives it
looked
away a little bit.
Yeah, and
as
then
well.
I looked it up and I was like, "Ah, yeah."
I think my standout character in this is Zero.
Oh, he's very good.
Tony Revolori is exceptional.
Can you imagine how psyched he would have been to be starring in this film?
Yeah.
Like, with all of these massive actors and actresses. It would have been
it's
amazing.
It's surreal now that, like, you know, he's getting up there with Spider-Man and stuff, but
yeah.
I mean, he was quite young doing this. I think he was
Yeah.
about maybe, well, how was he, like, maybe 20? He's about our age,
I think
24.
I think he's 25 now. I looked this
25
up
now,
earlier. He's
yeah.
25 now, so he would have been 19 here.
Yeah. 19, wow.
That's wild, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine?
This is his
Like,
first kind of...
his other films, put it this way, I went to go look at his other films on Wikipedia earlier, and only one of them before this has a Wikipedia page. So
those trousers, man.
yeah, Ray Fiennes is great in this film. He's so funny.
It's
the combination of him, like, he clearly cares quite a lot, but he's also really rude, and
Yeah.
it just makes it for a funny combination.
It's a weird role because, you know, he's used to doing kind of villainous roles and,
Yeah.
you know, isn't he the villain in Schindler's List as well?
I'm not sure, but I can tell you what he was the villain in.
Harry Potter. Speaking of Harry Potter, no, we're not going to get into that one.
Not
This was actually not long after Harry Potter. No, maybe 3 years after Harry Potter. This role reminds me a lot more of his role in Bruges, Harry in Bruges, and they're not similar in any way. It's just kind of like hitting that comedic tone with that kind of like
severity,
dramatic. Yeah.
Because he's a very serious character, but he has some very funny moments. Like when he swears, it's hilarious.
Yeah. It does.
Because
You
you don't expect it.
Voldemort swearing.
I wouldn't even say it's because it's Voldemort. I'd say it's just because like his character in this film doesn't really, you know, he's very posh, he's very proper, like, you know, and then he says fuck every once in a while, and you're just like, lol.
He says some quite concerning things as well.
Yeah, I know, it's hilarious.
We can't go. I think. Well, actually, I think. All right, we've done. This is episode 36 now. So it's getting to the point where I can't remember if we've done certain films by certain directors, and I believe this is the first Wes Anderson film.
Really?
And because it is, we can't go without saying cinematography.
Oh, it's brilliant.
And I
Perfect.
think this is kind of how we could delve deeper into this than we would of any other film, because his films have this like unique style.
Square.
It's square. Well, I mean, it's square because of the aspect ratio now.
Exactly.
But I mean, the thing with that is
everything is very symmetrical all the time. It is great.
it's amazing, and you know that's his work with Robert Yeoman, who is the only cinematographer Wes has worked with on his feature films.
Yeah.
If you don't include Fantastic Mr. Fox or Isle of Dogs, because you know they were stop motion, so they wouldn't have had the need for a cinematographer.
Yeah.
But it's all like the little whip pans and the zooms. Like it's kind of like it kind of has like a similar style to Edgar Wright as well.
Yeah.
But I think I can see obviously Wes's work in Edgar Wright's work, because when Edgar Wright started directing, you know, Wes had released four feature films at the same time. I think Life Aquatic came out the same year as Shaun of the Dead. I'm not saying that, you know, he could have been a heavy influence, but you know, there's certain shots that Wes Anderson is known for. You know, I got a book on my shelf up there that is dedicated to him and how his style and how his themes and how his characters are and how they all kind of like feel like they're part of this like universe, like this miniature universe.
Yeah.
That he's created for himself, and I feel like certain shots do associate with him. So when I see those in Edgar Wright films, you just go, "Oh, Wes Anderson."
Yeah.
But then it's not just that; it's also with this film. I think the color palette. It's like kind of everything feels smooth. The skin feels like really smooth, and you know how they set up certain rooms, and look at the color there. You know that the hotel there's a certain palette going on. You know,
Yeah.
and you just know you're kind of in a Wes Anderson movie just instantly by just by looking at one shot. The zoom, yeah.
Zoom is so funny.
But there's also have you seen Paddington 2?
I haven't, no.
I haven't seen either, but there's one shot, and I believe Brendan Gleeson's in it, and obviously Paddington the Bear's in it, and they're all wearing like these kind of like prison clothes, like the stripes, but it's like got a slight pink tint to it, and it looks like a shot from the Grand Budapest Hotel, and it's amazing. I don't know who directed those films.
Yeah, I don't know. Actually, I'm trying to think. It's definitely.
Yeah.
I feel like it's someone will know, which will make it extra annoying.
Let's have a look, because they're like high regarded films as well. Mine, both of them are like in the late 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. Paul King. Okay,
never mind.
He directed all the episodes of Mighty Boosh.
Oh,
and the Future Sailors tour. Paddington. He directed Come Fly With Me, the David Williams, Matt Lucas show. He directed the best show that's ever been created on Channel 4, Garth Marenghi's Dark Place.
Did he actually?
Yeah, he did. He directed that.
Oh my god. What a guy. What an absolute
For those
guy.
who haven't seen Garth Marenghi's Dark Place. It's on Channel 4. It's possibly one of the funniest TV shows ever made.
What was it? Writer? Visionary?
Writer. No, author. Visionary. Dreamweaver. Plus
actor.
And this is my Dark Place. No, yes, I'm not talking about Geth
Marenghi.
Geth Marenghi. I tell you what I would like to see. Wes Anderson directing Willy Wonka.
I reckon that could work because I think the way
his unique style and his kind of weirdness.
Well, he's good at like portraying space. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So it would be good because you'd be able to see Willy Wonka's factory in a different style.
Imagine in the style of this, with kind of how they do the hotel isn't an actual they do the hotel shots and then they have the miniature models.
Yeah.
I would like to see it like that, I think the Willy Wonka as a story feels like a completely different story that Roald Dahl's made, and he's also done Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Yeah.
So he's not just he's worked like adapting another story. I think he could possibly do a really great Willy Wonka. And we're gonna do a little game here, right? You're gonna pitch a Willy Wonka film, Wes Anderson, right? You can use any actors you want, but in a familiar Wes Anderson style. He uses actors all the time, like Bill Murray, Owen Wilson. It would have been Luke Wilson. Willem Dafoe, Adrian Brody, Jason Schwartzman. So you've got to cast Willy Wonka.
Yeah, and I think I've already got my casting for Willy Wonka. It was pretty simple for me because I was like, no, it's a bit ridiculous, but then I thought about it, and it actually wouldn't be too bad. I think if it was going to be a Wes Anderson Willy Wonka film, I reckon he'd have to be played by like Owen Wilson.
Willy Wonka?
Yeah, I reckon Owen Wilson might be able to do it. I mean, he'd have to, maybe change his hair color a little bit.
Yeah. Well, that's fine, Actors can do that.
He can do that, exactly, wear a wig. But I think he can act eccentric enough to be able to do that kind of role.
Yeah. I have two options. And mine would either be Ralph Fiennes, because I would love to see him kind of like he can do that kind of like almost, if they go in the Gene Wilder way where he's not quite as eccentric as Johnny Depp's version.
Yeah, Johnny Depp's version is a bit too much.
But he could portray that kind of anger that Gene Wilder did towards the end of the film. You win nothing, all that kind of that whole monologue. And then my other option is bring Johnny Depp back. because Johnny Depp was initially thought of for Gustav. I can see that. I can see that too.
I can definitely.
And I'm glad he wasn't, because I don't think anyone else could possibly pull that off as well as Ralph Fiennes did. But I would love to see Johnny Depp give it another go. under the direction of a director that kind of knows that kind of world. And I feel like Wes Anderson would probably make the Oompa Loompas like stop motion kind of animated, which would be really interesting to see. But I'd like to see how he portrays the factory in that, in it, in his new kind of like. I love this model, like the use of models he uses. I feel like it kind of like tells a bit more of like a story. He's open to more visuals than you would have been if you had didn't have the budget to shoot certain aspects of the film, because it would have been quite difficult to do the ski chase.
Yeah, I get you. But then again, that means we'd be robbed of seeing like Peter Dinklage as an Oompa Loompa.
I think that's possibly a bit
because I think he'd be amazing. I mean, he would knock it out of the park playing anyone in that film, but like,
I don't know how good that sounds.
Fuck it. Peter Dinklage
as Charlie Bucket.
No, as Willy Wonka.
As Willy Wonka. Ooh, I thought you meant.
I'm going to start a petition on Twitter. Hashtag.
I would like to see that.
Willy Wonka.
I would like to see that actually. That'd be pretty good. There's a lot of actors really you could use for Willy Wonka, but I was thinking within the Wes world, he uses similar actors.
They've got to be weird for me. They've got to be some.
They've got to be naturally weird.
They've got to be naturally weird, which is why I like Owen Wilson as an option, just because he is a bit of a strange bloke.
I mean, you couldn't do. I don't think you could do many castings for the kids because they'd have to be young enough.
They'd have to be young enough.
It has to be unknown actors, just like Tony Revolori in this. You know, have them like shine through kind of unknown actors, and then keep the kind of cameos for other people. But with that, Grandpa Joe.
I don't know actually.
Oh, actually,
I don't think I know enough about him to. I'm not sure.
I'm gonna go for Bill Murray.
I was thinking Bill Murray,
and then I realised Jeff Goldblum was Willy Wonka.
Oh my god! Nah, I don't think he's the right kind of weird. I think that he needs to be like.
Welcome to my chocolate factory.
It would take him so long to finish the film. The film would be about 6 hours long. Just because
Jeff Goldblum a large enough role like that.
If you told Jeff Goldblum be really, really weird on camera, we would not see the end of the film. It would go on for days.
It's just he's that weird, He just does something like that.
I was possibly thinking for Grandpa Joe.
Yeah.
I was thinking making maybe. Oh wait, no, hang on. I need to make sure he's still alive. I was going to say Michael Gambon, but is he still alive?
Michael Gambon?
Yeah.
Of course he's still alive. What kind of question is that?
I thought so. I just didn't.
Sorry to anyone who are related to Michael Gambon or Michael Gambon himself.
He's 79. He's
79. Yeah.
He's pretty old, but I think he.
Al
could do
Pacino
that.
just turned 80.
Jesus, yeah. Al Pacino for Joe.
Al Pacino, that would be if
Hashtag
Al
Al
Pacino would only
Joe.
be Grandpa Joe if he was directed by Martin Scorsese, which could be a completely different film. He'd be
my god! If it we should do
the Willy of Wall Street.
we should do Willy Wonka directed by different directors.
Oh yes.
So by Martin Scorsese, it would be.
By default, Willy Wonka would be Robert De Niro or Leonardo DiCaprio.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yes,
yeah.
younger. Robert De Niro. No, Joe Pesci would be Grandpa Joe. Come out of retirement again. Al Pacino would be Oompa Loompa.
Yep.
No, he probably. I can't even think. I can't even get through that.
Willy Wonka by Quentin Tarantino. Willy Wonka will be played by Bill Murray's feet.
Bill Murray's feet. Uma Thurman's feet.
Plays
Charlie Bucket.
Can you imagine?
Well, it'd be DiCaprio and Brad Pitt again, wouldn't it? Margot Robbie would be Veruca Salt, maybe. I don't know.
Something like that. And she'd be dressed in her Harley Quinn costume.
What if you could do like? I mean, if you could cast anyone as Charlie Bucket, though, regardless how old they are. I mean, as in like under at least 25 or under.
Oh,
it could be like 16 or 17.
Because if you were going to give me full complete reign, I would go with Dave Bautista.
I like that. Wes Anderson directed Willy Wonka film with Dave Bautista playing Charlie Bucket. I'm all for that. Sign a petition.
And at the end of the film,
Or Willem Dafoe
Willem
playing
Dafoe.
playing Mike TV. I don't know. Augustus Gloop played by Adrian Brody.
I was going to say Saoirse Ronan.
But as Augustus Gloop.
Yeah.
No, she'd be Violet Beauregard.
Yeah. I was going to say Augustus Gloop, and then she could do some method acting and put on loads of weight for the role.
Wow.
Till she's
No,
about 4 tons
honestly,
and
right.
can't move.
In regards to the 1971? 1971. Wow, that's almost 50 years ago.
Jesus Christ.
50 years ago, the first Willy Wonka film came out.
Lord have mercy.
I say that as like I'm older than that, and you know, I'm like I was 20 when that film came out. I wasn't nowhere near being born. My mum was 1 when that came out. But I was thinking, you got like the candy shop owner at the start. I think that could be played by someone, with these kind of like cameos that he does, especially in this. And Moonrise Kingdom's got a few. Isle of Dogs has got loads as well.
I reckon the guy in the candy shop at the beginning
could be Bill Murray, actually.
I reckon it should be 50 Cent. so that we can fit in, take you to the candy shop.
Yeah.
do, 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 do.
This sounds like that Leprechaun film, the
Leprechaun
one with
5
Ice-T in it, yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly what it would be.
That's shocking. How did they get Warwick Davis to do more than one Leprechaun films? I mean, it's bad enough they got him to do the first one because it was a load of shit. Have you seen that with the
Warwick Davis could be in our Willy Wonka film as well.
Yeah, but he's playing Charlie Bucket. Honestly, that'd be a really good film. I'd be really excited to see that. And I'd like to see maybe him tackling like an X-Men film.
I'm trying to think of the kind of film that I'd want to see.
Like, what kind of films would you like to see in Wes Anderson's, style? Jurassic Park?
I was thinking maybe
just
Jurassic
models.
Park.
Just models.
But I think with Jurassic Park, it would have. Oh no, because it just. I don't know actually. If they were to do like a remake of the first one,
yeah,
and make it really artistic, then they could do it like this.
I don't think you can top the first one.
You couldn't, no.
Yeah, so you can. Jurassic Park 3 done.
JP3,
possibly the best one.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lie.
And if they were to remake that, I'd want Chadwick Boseman as Alan Grant.
Yeah. Be fucking sick. Chuck him in the Black Panther costume, boom, fucking he can outrun anyone really, can't he?
Yeah. T-Rex, pa.
Black Panther's here to save the day.
He's not. He's out. No T-Rex is catching up with him.
This has kind of gone very.
He'd be beating up velociraptors like left, right, and centre. It'd be great.
You taking names. Kick names and take ass.
Kick names, take ass.
No, what kind of would be any kind of franchise that you reckon? I mean, he wouldn't do it.
See, I'm trying to think. I can't really think of it because I'm thinking maybe there's an MCU film that he'd be perfect for, but at the same time,
I don't think he probably would be hired.
I don't think he
because he's built up such this reputation for being so stylistic and specific and
yeah. But then again, I was
meticulous.
I was reading a lot of stuff the other day about like because I was quite interested in seeing what people thought about Sam Raimi being brought on for Doctor Strange.
Yeah,
and I saw a lot of interesting stuff saying it was it was the start of a lot of because we've started getting a lot of heavy hitting actors in the MCU now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But now with the addition of Sam Raimi as a director, maybe it will start paving the way for some more artistic directors.
I think Sam Raimi's a great choice anyway for that. Not just because of Spider-Man. He's worked on superhero films with the Spider-Man trilogy. Spider-Man 3 wasn't really his fault. He didn't want Venom as the
of course.
He was going to set him up for number 4, but
he was forced to put him in there. That's why there were so many different.
I mean, Spider-Man 2 is possibly, and I'm including any MCU film involved here now, it's possibly one of the greatest, if not the best, superhero film ever made.
that's not included in the MCU, pretty much. Because
I mean, you can include the MCU in some aspect. I mean, some people will say, "Oh, Iron Man," or Avengers Endgame, or Avengers Infinity War. They're like this kind of like, I won't say masterpiece, but they are masterpieces.
They're spectacles.
They're spectacles. Yeah, that's better.
It's not really like their own self-contained stories. They're the payoff to years and years of build-up, pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, Iron Man 1, obviously paved the way with that, but I think Spider-Man 2 was the first of many great. It was the first great superhero film, at least,
And it was
it was incredible. I mean, I don't think anyone is probably gonna. I mean, they brought J.K. Simmons back.
Yeah, amazing.
What about Doc Ock?
What's his name?
Bring him back, Alfred
Molina.
Yeah.
He'd be really
I can't remember his last name then. I thought it was Molina.
Alfred Molina for Willy Wonka.
But instead of he could be Willy Wonka, yeah. Instead of bringing him back, as Doc Ock, but his Doc Ock is also played by his character in Boogie Nights. The cokehead. When they go to the house and they throw in all the.
He's terrifying in that.
He's
film.
So terrifying.
He's terrifying.
It's not just
so
that.
unpredictable.
It's what are those little things called? The poppers, the little bang that they make. They sound like gunshots.
Oh yeah, the poppers, the ones that people used to throw in school and scare everyone.
Yeah, that kid's smashing them on the floor. And
they're like little like rocks wrapped in paper, and you just throw them on the floor, and they go. Tsh.
Yeah. Oh god, that scene itself, like that's
it's terrifying.
But him as that character doing Doc Ock, so he's on this like coke fueled like monologue playing Doc Ock. I mean, that'd be great.
I think it's interesting as well because I think we've got another good representation of Doc Ock in the last couple of years, and it was in the PS4 Spider-Man game. I thought the Doc Ock in that film, in that game, was actually quite good, just because there was a lot of depth to him, and like we haven't seen that since Spider-Man 2.
That's kind of how I would like to go. So if I know we're going away from Grand Budapest, but anyway, if they were to go in the direction they're going at, how they're going to do Spider-Man 3. If they bring Daredevil into it.
Unfortunately, I did read something. I think yesterday that I can't remember who confirmed it, but someone involved with the film confirmed that he wasn't going to be appearing.
Oh no!
Which is really upsetting.
That would have
been really good, because that could have tied in with him, like you said, him being the lawyer for Peter Parker.
They could have. I honestly, right? Big mistake. They could bring Charlie Cox back, because now I believe Netflix don't have the rights to those shows, so I think they can make them, or I think they're going by November this year. I can't remember where I read it from. It's been a while, but
they're going to be on Disney Plus, I'm assuming.
No, not going to be Disney Plus.
They're just going to be gone.
No, I mean, no, they're going to be on Netflix. It's just that Netflix don't no longer own the rights for like Defenders and.
I thought you were saying they were going to be going.
So they can use Daredevil.
Okay.
And I would like to see them. I like to see Charlie Cox reprise his role, because he was excellent.
Yeah.
As Matt Murdock. And
I didn't really watch many of the TV series for the MCU or the Marvel.
What, the
TV
Netflix
series.
ones?
No, I didn't really.
Oh, Daredevil was really good.
I was close to watching Luke Cage.
So you haven't started any of them?
No. Yeah, I know. We'll do it at some point.
We'll do that very soon.
I was close to watching Luke Cage. I think the thing that put me off was seeing how badly
Iron Fist was getting.
Iron Fist was it was being reviewed.
Iron Fist wasn't that bad,
but
it wasn't great.
Which disappoints me, because it had what's his name in it from Game of Thrones. What's his name? I don't know why I know him from Game of Thrones. The main character. What's his name?
Tyrell, isn't he?
Yeah, that one.
Fucking Loras Tyrell.
That's the guy.
I can't remember his name for the life of me right now.
Yeah.
I know Loras Tyrell, and then Danny Rand, aka Iron Fist. I can't remember the actor's name for the life of me. He was quite good. I enjoyed it. I think it got ruined by how they took his they took his character arc in a way, and there's also the whole thing with the whole Iron Fist character, and the fact that he's white as well, and there was all that backlash. But I mean, besides that, which he was really good in it, and he was really good in Luke Cage season 2, which I only saw a few episodes of. Defenders was a bit iffy. Yeah, I didn't really finish them all either. I didn't finish Daredevil. I didn't really finish The Punisher or Jessica Jones. I think they all managed to get 2 seasons each apart, and then Jessica Jones and Daredevil got 3.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't think it's. I don't think it's really. The worlds of like Jessica Jones and stuff like, and Luke Cage and that, I don't really think they interest me as much as other parts of the MCU.
Yeah.
Just because we've got these other grand stories that have like.
They're great. They're great. I think it's the fact that they do it better than the DC shows with the Flash, Green Arrow, Batwoman,
well,
Supergirl.
I was an avid watcher of the Flash TV show, but at the same time, it was only because I'm just a big DC fan anyway.
Yeah,
and like I've been a Batman fan. I mean, I said this last week, but I've been a massive fan of Batman since I was 3.
Yeah,
so like. I like seeing the smaller characters in DC more than I like seeing the smaller characters in Marvel.
Yeah, I mean, they did the kind of same thing where they overlap each other.
Yeah.
So they had Daredevil, but I know they had this kind of plan to do all these 4 characters and then do the Defenders, and then they were going to do them. What's it called? Heroes for Hire. So it would have been Iron Fist and Luke Cage, and then the whole Luke Cage, Jessica Jones thing, which they didn't really finish off, which I'm kind of gutted about. But then they had some great actors. I mean, Mahershala Ali was in it. Was in Luke Cage.
Oh yeah,
you know?
yeah, I did, yeah. Which is
Cottonmouth.
Cool.
Really
I think
good.
it's also like they don't get as much money to work with, I guess.
Yeah.
Because they're TV shows. TV shows just by their nature have, I mean, other than, a couple
Game
of
Thrones
notable exceptions.
Mainly just HBO stuff. I mean, they had quite high budget. Oh, well, Netflix shows have quite high budgets as well, It did. They are like exceptional. I mean, Daredevil was the best of the bunch, and that's just me being biased because he's my favorite comic book character of all time.
Yeah.
Nothing comes close to Daredevil,
Yeah, fair enough.
And I'm glad that it's finally a decent, version of Daredevil. We had that kind of film in 2003 starring Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck, yeah.
And
I tend to try and forget about that one though. So
it wasn't that bad.
But see, I think the thing with me as well is like I said, they don't require have as much money to work with. That was my biggest problem. My biggest issue with the DC ones was that it's as soon as it comes to like the grand, the more grand
Budapest Hotel.
When it comes to the bigger storylines and these massive, great big scenes where you've got these CGI characters and stuff, that's when it really falls apart, especially in stuff like Supergirl.
Yeah,
because the CGI for Supergirl was dreadful. Like,
I think that's was it CW do all those shows now?
Yeah,
I mean they got a lot of shows in their plate as well. They got the entire Arrowverse,
exactly,
Supernatural.
But I think the Flash, they got away with it because the effect of the lightning on when the Flash is running was pretty cool. So they kind of got away with that for a while, just because it was I'm assuming it was simpler to do than some of the bigger stuff, like having Gorilla Grodd appear and things like that.
That wasn't too bad, was it, Gorilla Grodd?
No, it wasn't. I remember
what's his name, the shark guy.
Yeah, I was gonna say I remember seeing that fight
Sharkman.
a couple weeks ago.
Shark Boy
again for the
Shark
Boy. I remember seeing it again, and I was like, you know what? That really looks quite bad.
Yeah,
in comparison to a lot of stuff that you'd see in films.
They do it a lot as well. They use a lot of Gorilla Grodd in that show. I mean, I've only seen the first 3 seasons, and he appeared in quite a few episodes.
To be fair, Gorilla Grodd is one of the bigger Flash baddies, isn't he? So,
yeah.
I mean, he should at some point. I mean, I haven't watched, I think, past season 3, maybe season 4, so I don't know if he gets a season where he's the main antagonist, because I'm assuming they're building.
They don't really do that, do they? I mean, like they do what kind of early MCU films do, where like especially Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, Incredible Hulk, where the bad guys are usually just reversed versions or at least similar versions. Like you got the whole Reverse Flash, and you got you got these all different ones. I think I gave up on.
But this is what I mean: is I feel like they lack the creativity to give the Flash one of his villains who isn't super fast, because they make him so overpowered from being fast.
Because I'm the fastest man alive until
he's not the fastest man alive for like.
And then
3
I defeated
seasons.
this person, and then now I'm the fastest man alive again. Oh shit, another guy.
Yeah, because it's Reverse Flash in season 1. And we have a late entrance to the.
Yeah, we have Anson's joining us now. Yeah.
I mean, we're in the middle of a conversation about the Flash. Nothing to do with
Yeah, I did. I was stood outside. I was like, I'll come in once they finish this topic, and I thought like you were there, but you weren't there.
Oh
No,
I
yeah,
was.
yeah,
I
we
was.
were-
I was
That's why I
just.
opened the door
yeah.
dramatically.
Dramatically there.
Uh,
Hello, I'm also in this episode.
No, I was just saying about the. I don't even know how we got onto this topic.
No, I'm not sure either. I mean, but I think it's a good time to go back now.
Yeah.
You know, go back into the Grand Budapest Hotel.
Why
But
is
I
he wearing
think-
not Docs. He's wearing like fucking Crocs.
Yeah.
He's wearing
That's
pre-Crocs.
what we like to see. Some style. But
I
think-
saw a photo earlier of knee-high Crocs.
Actually,
I'm into that.
I'm kind of into that as well. Like those 28 lace Doc Martens,
Yeah,
Croc Martens,
crop mines.
I'm keen.
patent pendant.
Oh my god.
Right, I've asked John, what do you think of this film?
That is a good film. I really like it. I remember going to cinema to see it.
You saw it in the cinema? Oh my,
Yeah, I thought it was absolutely lit.
yeah.
Easily.
Did they do the aspect ratio change in that as well?
I honestly can't remember. It was years ago. I was like,
Because apparently they had, it wasn't just like aspect ratio changes that they had. It was like color and lighting and stuff and brightness. They had to like alter it for showing it. It was very meticulous.
yeah, it
Kind
does sound
of-
very OTT. I can't remember anything, to be honest. I just remember going to see it, and I thought that was the coolest film I've ever seen at the time.
Until Paddington 2 came out and did the exact same scene this is doing right now with the prison. You've seen those screens?
I have not seen Paddington 2.
No, we haven't seen it either. But I'll get the visual up right
it was
now.
until he saw Final Score. I have you know.
Yeah, Final Score is lit. I don't know. Have you actually seen it yet?
No,
No,
I
we haven't
haven't.
seen it.
Alright, for anybody that's listening,
But
you
talking
should
about
probably
Final Score-
turn this podcast off and put on Final Score, because Final Score is the best film ever. That's
So-
not even a joke. It is really good.
There's a screenshot from Paddington 2.
Is it? That is Harvey Keitel, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
So, have they got Harvey Keitel?
Tell me that doesn't look like a scene from Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah. Are they baguettes? Has he got baguettes? But there.
Yes.
I'm gagging for a baguette. Oh, I'd love one.
I bet you are.
There was what was it called? There was a place in Cardiff called Aubergine, and it was like a little cafe.
Well, like I thought you meant the Gordon Ramsay restaurant then. That he had in, like, the
No.
2000s.
It was really cute. It was a super inclusive place. It was like they did like special things for like autistic people and stuff. But they did these. It was all vegan, and they had these vegan shrimp baguettes, and it was fucking amazing. They were so good. And that's what I think every time
And
I
it
see a
doesn't
baguette.
exist anymore.
It doesn't. They shut down, which is very sad.
That's a shame.
I think they couldn't afford it.
Fair play.
I thought they got sued by Gordon Ramsay or something.
Nah, probably
You
not.
know, kind of like the Hugo Boss situation.
Nah.
Right. So look at this screenshot there. That's the screenshot I was referring to earlier
Oh yeah,
with Brendan Gleeson.
it's very similar.
It's exactly the same.
Can you imagine if the producers were just like, "Oh yeah, I love the Grand Budapest Hotel.
Let's make our film.
Could you do that again for me?" And then they're just like, "I didn't make Grand Budapest Hotel. Someone like you did.
But like
just
the
do
thing
it."
is, though, you got Noah Taylor there, right? And he was in the
Yeah.
Life Aquatic. So I mean, he was also in Charlie and
let's see him.
Chocolate Factory.
Let's see him. I don't
Oh
know
my
which one you're
God.
talking
He was
about.
Mr. Bucket, Charlie's dad.
That's the one from Game of Thrones.
I
Game of
can't-
Thrones. Who plays Locke in Game of Thrones?
The one who cuts Jamie's hand off.
Noah Taylor.
Oh yeah, he's in he's the one from Peaky Blinders as well.
Yeah.
Is he one of the villains? Is he?
He's oh, I can't remember his name. I'm sure he's Italian. I'm sure he's like one of the Italian gangsters.
Yeah, probably is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were talking about earlier before you came in. A Willy Wonka film directed by Wes Anderson.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Well, who would you book for
Ooh.
Willy Wonka?
Well, let's be honest. Bill Murray's got to go somewhere.
That's what we said,
yeah,
right?
That's what we said.
But I said maybe Grandpa Joe. Because give or take, it would take another like few years for him to get that on the go. You know, he'd be in his like mid-70s then. And you know, it'd be nice to see Bill Murray doing like another. He's a pretty big character, isn't he? You know.
Mm.
And then you chuck in either Ray Fiennes or bring Johnny Depp back.
Can't bring Johnny Depp back, so no.
You don't think he can come back from that?
No.
I feel like you can.
I think it should be John Cena.
John Cena.
I would
And
say.
Dave Bautista and Charlie Bucket, as we said earlier. If you could,
Wait. Who would play Charlie?
I don't know, probably some unknown actor.
I think it would have to be someone
I
unknown.
think
Yeah.
I think
Then
they'd all have to be
again,
unknown.
if we're talking
unknown.
like right now, is there even anyone that we can like suggest?
Well, I'm just scared. I'm scared that the name Timothy Chalamet is going to come up.
Oh well, it might because
I
he's
know.
gonna be in the French Dispatch.
I know, this is what I'm worried about.
And
I can't stand this
Actually-
fucking punchable face.
He's got the most punchable face in the world.
I'll tell you what, I haven't heard that in a while. Punchable face,
Yeah.
and we bring it back because I mean every episode we talk about this particular actor, and no word of a lie, not even just with you guys when we do with Ashley, this particular actor's name always pops up.
Who?
Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson.
Apparently, he has a punchable face,
Yeah, a little bit, a little bit.
and I think that's why it works.
Little
He's
bit.
Batman.
No, but
Batman, directed by Wes Anderson.
Batman.
Go. Timothy Chalamet. Done.
Oh my god, can you imagine?
I could possibly, if they remake him in about the next 2 years, because they will. They'll recast
Yeah.
Batman again, because...
Yeah, because it will flop, wouldn't it?
Oh, Willy Wonka right there. Sorted.
Yeah, we were
sorted.
literally
Yeah.
just
Sorted.
saying
You
Jeff
just said
Goldblum. We were saying Jeff Goldblum might,
Yeah.
if they tell him to be weird, he might go too far. Because I don't know if I think he's definitely weird.
Well,
but
think of the
I don't know if he has
Grandmaster,
the
like-
right-
Yeah, I was just going to say Grandmaster.
Yeah,
That's
No,
it.
he's got
actually,
that-
yeah. To be fair,
You can do the weird dancing, and like it's weird, but not in like the weird, the fucked up like Johnny Depp one with the whole backstory and his dad's
Yeah.
a fucking dentist.
I know you guys are going to say no to this, but how about who's he talking to? What's his face?
Adrian Brody
Yeah, Adrian Brody.
as Charlie Bucket.
No. And Willem Dafoe.
right?
Willy as
Oompa Loompas.
Oompa Loompas.
Yeah.
I'd cast him as Oompa Loompas.
The entire cast of Grand Budapest is Oompa Loompas. Bill Murray involved. Anyone who plays other characters, like I'm also an Oompa Loompa.
Do you know what? I'm thinking of a name now, right? I know he's not got any work to do at this particular point in time because he hasn't got the Avengers films to do anymore. But possibly Robert Downey Jr. as Willy Wonka.
Nah, you're right.
Nah, I don't
You can
think
keep
that.
that
I
hot
don't.
take.
I think you can keep that just because of how poorly Doolittle has been.
No.
Yeah, I
received.
was
Nah.
literally gonna say Doolittle wasn't particularly great. However, like
I hate Robert Downey Jr. simply for the fact that at the moment he's trended on Twitter for being a disgusting racist going in blackface.
for Tropic
Is he?
Thunder. Oh,
Yeah, that's trending. It's
is it
really
happening
funny.
at the moment?
It's
Right
really
now?
I
funny.
said this. I
I've
said this a
seen-
while back. I'm
yeah.
waiting for the day where Robert Downey Jr. gets
Yeah.
shit for doing
See,
Tropic
now
Thunder.
the people that are like, I've seen so many people that are outraged that people are outraged. I've seen very few people that are actually outraged that he's done blackface. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's just like
I think
the
more
amount
people are
of
aware.
that
Like
I've-
he's not
yeah.
making fun of. He's not being racist. He's making fun of white actors who do shit like
It's
that.
satire.
It's satire of like
Yeah.
method actors. They play on that so
Yeah.
much. It's so obvious how
It's
they get
so
to
obviously
that point.
ridiculous. If you've seen the film, you won't complain.
I think it's
Chris.
because maybe that film came out 12 years ago now, and it's
Came out a while ago,
there's there's people there's teenagers and adults now
Twitter
who
woke
Didn't he
people,
lose-
would have been about 7 when that film came out.
Didn't he lose out to Heath Ledger on the Oscar for that?
He did get nominated for an Oscar for that, yeah.
He lost out to
Yeah.
Heath Ledger because, and I'm pretty sure. I mean, it might sound disrespectful,
Well,
but I
'cause
feel
he's
like
dead.
I feel like Heath Ledger only got the Oscar because he died, because that was his. It was a posthumous.
Ooh, ding, ding.
Oh shit!
Controversial.
Awful continuity error here is his shoulder straps. Oh, watch his shoulder straps. They're up and down. They're all over the place.
Don't get me wrong. I think Heath Ledger deserved it, but at the end of the day, what edged him out in front is the fact that he got
Dead.
it, but after he died.
That's a hot take.
I think it is a hot take, but at the same time, like I've got to be honest.
Honestly, he's the best
He
policy.
was great. He was brilliant. He was the best part of the Dark Knight film,
Yeah.
and it's probably one of the best.
No, Batman's voice.
I'm Batman.
I was going to say Bane, then I realized Bane's the next one because I can't do
Yeah.
Bane. I can't stand Bane's voice.
Imagine Bane, but it's Matt Berry. That would be sick.
Could you do the accent? Because I was going to do it then. I know I can't do it.
I don't
You did it the other day, like
No.
perfectly fine.
Nah, not me.
Matt Berry. Oh, that was shit.
Wow.
It's not as bad as your fucking Alan Rickman.
I'm Alan Rick. That's exactly what he sounds like. That's actually what he sounds
You sound more like Michael Gambon. Michael Gambon.
like.
Come man.
Michael Gam.
I've got a hot take for Willy Wonka.
Oh, I give up.
Alright.
Richard Ayoade.
Ooh.
Hi guys, I'm Richard Ayoade and welcome to my chocolate factory.
And instead of directed by Wes Anderson,
It's directed by Richard
person,
Ayoade.
the person who did Dark Place, Garth Marenghi's Dark Place.
Actually, the guy.
I don't even know who directed that. I think it's just like a combination of everyone just saying stuff.
We're gonna repeat ourselves because we've discussed this earlier.
However,
But so the guy who
directed
Paddington 2, Paul King. You know the name Paul King, director? Directed
no,
both.
But I'm moving
He directed
my
both
mic stand a
Paddingtons.
second. Okay, carry on.
So he directed both Paddingtons.
Yeah.
He also directed 20 episodes of The Mighty Boosh, which I believe to be all of them.
Okay.
And he directed. He directed. He was associate director. Sorry, on the Garth Marenghi's Dark Place.
Associate director. Is that what it says?
Yeah.
Everyone directed, surely. Surely it was just like
I
a
mean,
smash.
that's the kind of show. It's like
Yeah.
who was really directing? Like
Yeah.
was Garth Marenghi directing?
Garth Marenghi.
I feel like everyone just knew what they were doing and they just did it.
Oh, they're just like be as bad as possible. Just say whatever comes to mind.
I mean,
And
if
we'll
you
just
watch it, it feels extremely collaborative.
Yeah.
Like the way that all the scenes are absolutely fucking ridiculous. It's like,
I want Garth Marenghi to play Willy Wonka.
oh
Do
mate,
you know what? I've got a good question.
go on.
If you were to, if and when Wes Anderson makes his next film after, what's the one that's coming out?
Dispatch.
French Dispatch. Which actors would you like to see work with him?
I was going to ask you the same question.
Well, you actually,
Yeah, I was going to ask you the same
That's not
question.
right.
I was going to wait till later, but we can talk about it now.
and I think my one personally,
Timothy
this
Chalamet.
might be just quite biased on my part, but Donald Glover,
Ooh.
I would like to see.
Ooh.
And that's only because I saw him in Guava Island, and I really enjoyed Guava Island.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
think he would
he would be
work quite
perfect,
well.
and I mean to say this because, of his other profession as Charles Gambino,
Yeah,
I want to see a Wes Anderson musical. It
That's
needs
a
to be
shout.
made.
that's a shout.
It needs to be made. A big old grand theatre production, maybe something along the lines of like a theatre production going wrong. Wes Anderson. I think of the possibilities he can do. Think of the casting he's got there. Timothy Chalamet as everyone. Donald Glover would be in it. That's a kind of idea.
I reckon the person who I'd want to see in as the only actor and the only character in a Wes Anderson film, because the rest of the people on Earth are dead. This is my story pitch as well. The rest of Earth has just disappeared,
Right.
and it's just a Wes Anderson film about Hannibal Buress.
Oh shit!
And his everyday life.
It's Wes
That'd be
Anderson's
good.
birthday today.
Is it?
Yeah,
It's wait,
No way.
yeah. I just
Whose birthday?
Wes Anderson.
Really?
It's his birthday. He's 51.
Oh, well, happy birthday,
happy
Wes
birthday.
Anderson, then. We didn't even know
Look,
that.
and there he is. He's actually in a scene.
Popping some bubbly.
He's not actually in the scene.
He's not in the
just-
scene. He's in the scene, but not.
yeah.
popping some
He's just
bubbly.
coming
Is
up
it
from
actually his
underground.
birthday?
Pouring
Yeah.
one out
Wow.
for Wes Anderson.
Fair play, yeah. We'll drink to that, yeah. Well, I was happily accidental then.
Yeah, I was just about
Thanks
to
for checking
DM
that.
him and ask him if he'll do Willy Wonka. I don't expect
No,
him to,
I
but
don't think he would.
It's worth it.
I mean, he might do it. I mean, I feel like he would have been asked after Fantastic Mr. Fox did so well. I imagine, I don't know if the Roald Dahl estate, I don't know if that's referred to as like family or, kind of his,
This is my
His
favorite
thing,
shot
but-
in the film. Sorry.
after how well Fantastic Mr. Fox did, I think they would probably grant him access to like any film adaptation. Leave Matilda alone. Don't even touch Matilda. That was perfectly done by Danny DeVito.
What is Wes Anderson's middle name?
You what?
What's Wes?
It's Wales.
Which is a ridiculous name. What a ridiculous
Well, it's
name.
not because we live in Wales.
I know, but it's still a ridiculous name.
We're in Wales with.
Would you call? Oh yeah, I'm just thinking about calling my son Wales.
Well, his name's Wesley. Wesley Wales.
That's fine.
I thought it was going to be something even more confusing and be
Mr. Anderson.
either Paul or Thomas.
Where's Paul Thomas Anderson? Two great directors there. Also, there's Paul W.S. Anderson, who directed the amazing franchise Resident Evil.
I can't be asked. I didn't
be
even know they were different. I didn't even know they were.
I
fucking,
honestly went.
separate people until.
Oh
like,
wait, and
last
what year was he born? 1969.
Hey,
Nice.
Hey,
Wes
Lamo.
Anderson's got it all going on.
Look at this snitch.
We picked the perfect time to do this,
No, you said that we see him get killed. We didn't see him get killed. We see him get dragged away.
Yeah, we don't see any. No. This isn't the scene. The scene
okay.
where the scene get killed is late, like just after this bit. Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
so, yeah.
It's the
Oh,
bit where so
when he jumps
he
into
jumps
the
down.
guard room.
Yeah, yeah, in the
Yeah.
guard.
Fair.
Yeah, and then you see him get stabbed in the shoulder,
Yeah.
and then he dies. That's the only on-screen death. Actually, I want to double check if the French Dispatch has been
delayed.
It is scheduled to be released on October 16th.
Fair play.
And it's his 10th film.
Have you guys played Abe's Odyssey?
I
have
played
not.
Munch's Odyssey.
Oh, this is giving me Abe's Odyssey vibes there then.
Yeah.
With the sneaking round, yeah.
You do the same kind of thing though. I mean, you can play as Abe in Munch's Odyssey.
But is it it's not a side scroller, is it?
No.
No, that's the beauty of Abe. It was a beautiful side scroller.
See, I'd rather stay in prison than climb down that
I'd rather
that
fall
ladder
to my
out
death,
that side.
honestly, than be stuck in prison with Paddington
Mm.
and Brendan Gleeson.
Can you imagine though? That would be fucking sick, hanging out with a talking bear.
And what's the thing you like? Is it is that Marmalade? Is he the one who he has
yeah.
a fucking hanking for marmalade?
Yeah.
He's just like, got
I got some marmalade the other day. I was gagging for it.
What are you fucking Paddington here?
I fucking love that shit. Marmalade and Marmite, not together, but both on toast. That'd be sick.
Marmalade. I don't know.
Just jumps in and shanks.
Do you know what? Do you know what's kind of bugged me that I noticed after we watched like pretty much all his films is that Luke Wilson just kind of disappeared.
Yeah.
He
He was a regular fixture in the films.
In the first, he was in the first three, and that was it. But like, I've noticed as well that like his films, apart from obviously French Dispatch now, his films feel like trilogies.
Mm.
And that's only because of how the actors he uses. Like the first three felt like, oh, these were his first three films. You know, it's just kind of like, you know, getting used to it, getting into his style, and then you got the Life Aquatic. So you got Bottle Rocket, Rushmore, Royal Tenenbaums.
Mm.
They all feel like a collection.
Yeah.
You know, like his early collection. Then you got his mid collection, which is kind of, well, Life Aquatic, Darjeeling, and Fantastic Mr. Fox, where it's like, you know, he's starting to develop his style, he knows that, and then he gets to Moonrise Kingdom, Grand Budapest, and Isle of Dogs, and it's just like, you know, boom, this is Wes Anderson, you know.
Yeah.
And then all his films are now going to be like the same. Like he uses, you know, it's such a distinct style, you know.
Yeah. How many common Wes Anderson actors and actresses are in French Dispatch then?
So we've got Adrian Brody,
Okay.
Tilda Swinton,
Fair play.
Bill Murray, obviously,
Of course.
Owen Wilson,
Nice.
Edward Norton,
Nice.
Willem Dafoe,
Willem.
Saoirse Ronan, Jason Schwartzman, Tony Revolori's back,
Nice.
and Bob Balaban.
Balababam.
Bob Balaban,
Balabam.
who is, I don't think he's in this one. No, he is in this one. He's one of the other hotel.
Oh,
concierge.
the guy who plays
He plays Phoebe's dad on Friends. He's also in Moonrise Kingdom. He's the guy. He's like kind of narrates, but he looks at the camera and talks to the camera. You remember that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So he's back as well, and Angelica Houston's finally back after not being in a few films.
Who are the new actors then? Who we
So it's a pretty. You got Benicio del Toro. You got
Nice.
Leah Seydoux. I don't know if that's how you say her name. I apologize if that's wrong.
I was gonna say, isn't she in She's in Grand Budapest Hotel as well.
Her.
Yeah. She's
she?
she's the maid who snitches on
And she is as well.
yeah, she's the maid who snitches on Monsieur.
So what? She looks
Gusteau.
like she's in Isle of Dogs as well, but she's only in the French dub.
But she was in was it one of the James Bond films?
Yeah, she's going to be in the new one as well. No Time to Die. She was Inspector.
She was Inspector, wasn't
Yeah,
she?
Inspector.
What else?
And
she
she's
was
in Midnight in Paris, dude.
Yeah,
Midnight
I
in
was gonna
Paris.
say.
She's the
We've seen her
what
in-
Owen Wilson kind of like gets with at the end.
Yeah, we've seen her in a lot of stuff recently. To be fair,
Wow. She's in the French version of
Beauty
Beauty and the
and the
Beast. Wow, she's been in a lot of stuff. I apologize if I said her name wrong. Frances McDormand. I don't remember if she's been. Oh, she was in Moonrise Kingdom, so she's kind of back, but she's not a regular. Timothy Chalamet will be in it.
Ugh.
Jeffrey Wright.
That's enough reason not to watch it.
Liev
Despite that,
Schreiber.
there's loads of good ones.
Elizabeth
Liev Schreiber,
Moss.
That's a good one.
Christoph Waltz.
Fair play.
Yeah. Henry Winkler. That's pretty much it. Yeah. It's a pretty big cast. And
Nice.
basically the premise is like, it's supposed to be, it's described as a love letter to journalists set on an outpost of American newspaper in a fictional 20th century French city, centering on three storylines. So that could be quite interesting. He's pretty good. He's pretty good at doing that kind of separation of storylines.
Yeah.
At the Royal Tenenbaums. And I just realised this isn't technically his kind of first kind of crime film either. Fantastic Mr. Fox is technically a heist crime film.
Wait,
Yeah.
what about Bottle Rocket?
But oh shit, Bottle Rocket, yeah. It's just a heist film. A straight heist film,
Yeah,
yeah.
it is.
Look at that, me coming in with a Wes Anderson
And then
knowledge,
the
even
others,
though
yeah.
I wouldn't even watch that
It's the-
film.
it's the
I was
trivia.
on the computer at the time.
You missed most of the ones, didn't
I
you?
know.
Yeah.
Then again, I wouldn't even say this is much of a crime film.
Well, it's just about a murder.
Because yeah, it is about a murder, but there's not much mystery behind it. We know who's done it straight away.
Yeah, it's more of like why they done it.
Because I feel like the best crime films are the ones that are there's a mystery to them.
Well,
And,
Chinatown is
Mm.
completely different. Chinatown, you've seen Chinatown?
What about a crime film where it's more like they're trying to like clear their name? I can't think of one off the top of my head.
Chinatown.
Is that
Well,
Chinatown?
there's
Chinatown.
I
China-
just described Chinatown without seeing Chinatown.
Chinatown isn't so much of a who done it. It's more of a why done it.
Mm.
Mm.
Like why have they set me up? That's basically what happens.
Mm. Oh, so kinda like Law Abiding Citizen. Law Abiding Citizen sucks.
Is that the Denzel Washington film?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait,
I
is
haven't
Denzel
seen-
Washington? No, it's Jamie Foxx. Is it Jamie Foxx? I think
I've
it's
never
Jamie
seen it.
Foxx.
I've never
I think it's
seen it.
Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx or Willy Wonka.
Shut the fuck up.
That would actually be really good, and you have to get him to sing as well because he's got a really
Yeah.
great voice.
Yeah, but
Matter of fact, I said his name earlier, but Donald Glover is Willy Wonka.
It's
He's a
Jamie
weird
Foxx, yeah.
bastard.
Fox. Law Abiding Citizen. I've seen that film like 5 times, and the first 4 times I kept falling asleep because it was always on like ITV4 in the night.
Yeah.
And then I watched it once all the way through, and I couldn't believe how shit the ending was. It was so shit. I was so gutted. It was really shit. Because like the whole story is just like there's so many twists and
Who
turns.
else is
You're
in
like,
it?
That Irish guy that's in like crap films.
Oh, is Irish. I mean Jared Butler.
What did I
Butler.
say? Did I say
He
Scottish?
said Irish. He's Scottish.
Is he?
Yeah, Jared Butler's Scottish. He's from Paisley in Scotland.
Oh well. Sorry if
Have
I
you seen that?
offended
It was,
anyone by mixing him up, but whatever.
Well, to be fair, I thought he was Denzel Washington.
Ooh, the Society of Crossed Keys.
Right. I think it's perfectly time to get to the end of this.
I was
You
going to
know,
say, should we do
Go to the grand finale, and you know what that means.
Rotten Reviews?
It's Rotten Reviews. Yeah, you're right. And I got there's a few good ones here actually, and
I'm going to assume that there's going to be quite a few who just don't like the style.
yes, I think that's what.
And at that point, it's not really, we can't really comment on them because it's so subjective that it's like, well, if that's not what you like, that's not what you like. So
Well, this is actually a really good one, right? So it's like a beautiful stacking Petrushka doll. Open up another of its layers until you reach an empty center.
I think the end, yeah, I kind of guess that the end of the film is a bit like yada yada. They kind of just like,
It's kind of like, okay, get to the point. We know who's done it. We know Adrian Brody's corrupt, and we know
Yeah.
he
Adrian
murdered
Brody
his mum.
didn't do it.
It was Adrian Brody did it. Yeah.
I swear to God, watch it again. Watch it again. You're gonna see that Adrian Brody didn't do it.
Are you sure?
so who did then?
Because he runs away, and the fact that he murdered because he wants her fortune in the mansion, and he and,
I'm
and
kidding. I don't actually know. I can't remember. I just wanted you guys to watch.
you're gonna
it
be
again
you're gonna
all
be
the way
checking
through.
now because we just watched this film like maybe like
I
an
know you
hour
did.
ago.
I know you did.
But like, I get it. I mean, it gets to the end, like everything kind of ramps up, and then at the end,
Do you mean
nothing
it's the
really
fact that
happens.
like it ends with the fact it's the little girl at the start and memorial of?
I guess it's just because we don't see Monsieur Gusteau, like he kind of just says, "Oh yeah," and he died, and then he died,
Well,
and then he got shot.
Yeah, the whole black and white shot. Yeah,
Like Saoirse Rona's character, what's her name?
Agatha.
Agatha. She kind of just says, "Oh yeah," and she died of like
This disease.
of
Yeah,
this
yeah.
disease later on, and it's just kind of oh yeah, they both died.
It's best
after
like that.
all
I mean,
these
that's what
events,
that's what you kind of get with narration. You either have it enough or you don't, and then it
Yeah.
ends up being like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where it's like, oh shit, Kurt Russell's back. Why is he talking?
This is more of a look back rather than you're in the action.
Yeah. Oh
This is
yeah,
just-
of course.
this is
Yeah,
just
yeah.
you being
Yeah.
told.
This
the story.
is recollections from
Yeah.
an author who was speaking to Zero, Mustafa,
Yeah.
and he has to remember everything. So it's a little bit iffy. You know what I mean? If
I think it's the fact that the end of this film, or at least the end of the of him telling the story, isn't the end of Monsieur Gusteau's story. It isn't the end of of Agatha's story. The end of their stories happen after he stops talking, and he just kind of says, "Oh yeah," and then this happened, and then that's the end of it. And it's just kind of like, oh, well,
See,
would have been nice.
Well, I mean, he did ask how it got to that point, and it's more about M. Gustav, but it's told from Steve Rowe's point of view because obviously he got shot and killed. So
with a lot of Wes Anderson films,
it is layered like I get that.
I understand, and
Empty's a bit harsh.
Empty's a bit harsh, but I think it's just a bit like, well, what did we, what was all this build up for,
I don't feel like you watch a Wes Anderson film necessarily for the story, because there's so much more going on. Like, it's like, look at it visually, it's like an absolute piss take of all other films because it's so fucking stylized.
Yeah.
And it's like you're going in for the stylized shit. You go in to see actors doing stuff they wouldn't do. I mean, it's not necessarily just for us, just for like, oh, the story must be the best thing in the world.
But but it's one of those things where it's such a good film that they kind of like, the story is so good up until that point, and then there's kind of just there's no point to it.
Yeah. Forgive me for trying to get too artsy on this, but if you compare Wes Anderson films to Radiohead sort of stuff, where it's like Radiohead songs aren't meant to be like, it's
like an aesthetic,
hit singles or
isn't it?
anything. It's like meant to be an atmosphere and like an emotion you're feeling rather than like hook after hook.
Yeah.
And like this has got vibe after fucking vibe.
Oh, definitely. But I'd say the story is really good. I really do like the story. It's great.
Enjoy it. Yeah.
Right up until the minute where we're just kind of like, oh, so that's it. Like, she gets the painting out of the Grand Budapest.
Yeah.
They escape, and then that's just it.
Yeah.
Like, there's no point to the story. They kind of just...
It doesn't need to be a point though. At this point.
Did you guys notice there was a jump cut there?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a jump cut on the fucking swings back and forth.
Listen, you can be as artistic as you want, but if you want a film, especially to be taken in high regard, there needs to be some kind of structure to it. And for the most part, this film does have an amazing structure because, like I said, the story is very good. It's just that it falls apart at the end because they don't really.
Yeah. It doesn't have that big grand.
There's no resolution
finale that it should.
Yeah, there's no resolution.
Have a Grand Budapest finale.
There's not really a resolution to it. They just get on. But
isn't that like real life, bro?
Bro,
get out of here!
Yes.
Get out of here!
Well,
what are the other ones?
I got another one. So this is Anderson's.
Yeah, I did this.
I got another one. Anderson's pictures are comical without actually being funny, inventive without being freely playful, momentous without being dramatic. The emotional oxygen that would ignite them gets smothered in self-conscious cleverness.
Nah.
But I mean, that's your opinion, dude.
That's your opinion, man.
See, that's just wrong.
It's just wrong, dude. Well, I don't agree with him, but I agree with. I don't think he intends to be comical. It just kind of happens. Or just
I think it's more like visual comedy.
Yeah, I mean, he does that good, right? Like I was saying that it feels like they kind of have a similar style, like the whip pans and the is it the crash zooms? Are just like
it's not like
because the Tarantino does that kind of like comical like the crash zoom with DiCaprio in Django Unchained with the nod which is also a nod to Robert Redford. It's like that nod gif that you see a lot.
Yeah.
That everyone thought was Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah.
Inventive without being freely playful.
What? Shut up.
What does that mean?
I don't get what they mean. What do you mean inventive without being freely playful?
It's like saying this apple tastes really great, but it doesn't taste like an orange.
Yeah.
It's just two completely unrelated things,
And then it's momentous without being dramatic. That one I can see because I feel like
I kind of guess. I think that kind of follows on from the point I was making earlier, but at the same time, it's not quite what I was saying because I still think that the story in and of itself is quite good, and it doesn't need to be an overly dramatic finale. There just needs to be a resolution. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
or like closing of.
It wasn't very momentous either, really.
No, but
because you knew what was coming.
Yeah, of course.
You knew it wasn't going to surprise you with any deaths, like maybe if they killed like Gustav or Zero or something like that. Well, they won't kill Zero because obviously he's the one telling the story, but he's alive, something like that. They kind of do it with Gustav, but I feel like it's coming at that point. I feel like he's not going to make it to the end of the story. He's gonna end up being killed because of the way, either the way he acts, because that's how he got killed in the end. His kind of his attitude.
Yeah, beefing with the officers.
Beefing with the officers, and he gets shot. So they're kind of right there, but
this is my favorite joke in the whole film, by the way, is the fact that they mention it at the beginning that he uses so much like perfume that you can smell it even like 10 minutes after he's left the facility. You can still smell it, and then they use it later for when they try and find them on the train, and he comes up and he goes, "He was here."
Right, let's try. Let's do one more. I won't do too many today.
I go on.
Okay, so we got divine pastries, divine clothes, divine period trappings, but as with most of Anderson films, I was never moved or understood what mattered. If anything mattered, I'm even forgetting as I'm remembering it as if it had been no more than a dream. That's a play on like the the kind of visuals and how it's like it didn't really feel like a real film you're watching. It just felt like paintings that moved.
I think that's definitely just someone's subjective opinion on it. Is that I mean, I quite like the style, Wes Anderson's style, because it's a different way of, because we're so used to seeing everything directed in very similar ways nowadays, that when something comes out like this where it's so incredibly artistic, you can't help but take notice of it.
I feel like this is the kind of thing that is what Academy Awards films should be like, and what people hope they should be like. You see people getting nominated for like cinematography, production design, and all this kind of thing. And some films do shine through, but I think nothing has shone through as much as this did. And it won the Oscars for its respective categories like production design and sound mixing and all that.
Which it definitely should have.
It definitely should have. I mean, I don't think anyone could beat it because it kind of like they created their own world. I mean, the city that the Grand Budapest Hotel is in Zabrowska, which is named after the Polish vodka. It's not a real place. I mean, it could be based on a real place. I don't know geography, if Zabrowska is a place on Earth, but if they named it after vodka, that's a pretty Wes Anderson thing to do, funny. But I think, he kind of creates these worlds with his own kind of style. There's they're all kind of linked, like almost like a cinematic universe.
Shut up. Okay. All right.
I mean, I'm right.
Okay.
I'm right.
So the WCU, the Wes Cinematic Universe.
WACU.
Nah.
WACU.
Nah, too long.
The WACU. Wes Anderson Cinematic Universe. Yeah.
But then again, I guess you can like. It's just it's the kind of thing where it's like if you can say that your films are connected without them actually ever being connected by anything. Like there's
Tarantino films are connected.
Like there's literally no proof that this film is connected to any of the other ones, but because he says it's connected, I guess it's connected.
No, he doesn't say it's connected. None of these are connected.
He doesn't.
No, I was just kind of making a statement
how
how his style and just his visual style is they're also similar to his films. It feels like he's created this own miniature world.
Yeah. I get you.
Where all the characters could be linked, or they could be related to one another if he wanted to. But I know he doesn't do that.
Yeah, I definitely prefer them as like as their own
standalone things. They are though. I don't think he's will ever do anything like sequels or anything like that. The Grand Budapest 2 Electric Boogaloo. You're not going to see that anytime soon.
Grand Budapest 3. Now it's personal.
That was personal, yeah. Or Grand Budapest 0, the prequel.
Oh my god, that'd be amazing.
Boom. And with that, we're going to end this episode here. Thanks for listening to the Conversation Is podcast. I've been Charlie Pitson, and I've been here with Joshy Boy and Anson for the last half hour or so.
Half hour,
So yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, go follow us on Twitter, TCI_podcast. The TCI is in caps and the P is in caps. I don't know if that matters. And our Facebook and Instagram, The Conversations Podcast. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for listening.
See you later.
Goodbye.
Bye, bitches.